Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I am your host, Army Piper, and this is a Bitcoin chart. And I got a little floating edge over there. I don't know what's going on. Let me fix that for you real fast. Good Lord. Amateur hour. There we go. Perfect. Hey, guys, welcome to the Morning Market Report. We got GDP that came in this morning. It was the final revision of it. It was supposed to be -2, came in at -5, and we're seeing some market sell-off happening with that stock market TradFi side sitting pretty flat today. Let me get over there. There we go. Sitting pretty flat there right now. You can see that the Nasdaq's up about 0.4, S&P up about 4.3, right there behind my big old head, and Dow Jones about 0.4. But the VIX is not giving us much volatility. We're just sitting nice and calm right now on price action. But when you look at over at the crypto world here, daily in the red, hourly mixed, mostly in the red right now. Bitcoin sitting at about $107,000. We're going to break this down. We're going to break down the economic data that came in today. We're going to talk about the job numbers. We're going to talk about a very false article talking about why GDP was negative and what actually was the cause of that, and break everything down for you guys so that you know what's going on in the markets. You guys know what time it is. Everyone take your seats, including the new guy, Titan Pax. I see you. Take your seat. Take your seat. Let's go. Let's go. Class in session. Let's get it. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Reports, the show where we break down the economy, the headlines, the charts, the TA, everything that you need to have knowledge, because here at the Academy, knowledge is profit. Let's go ahead and bring up my co-host here, OC Guy. What's up, man? How you doing?
You right? I'm doing fantastic. Still,
I was getting ready to
used
hit the
to it.
crickets button on you.
Oh man, I was faster this time. Doing fantastic. Seeing a couple of icons actually retracing. Yesterday we were talking about that retracement of a couple of icons, and we gave some possible entries. For example, XRP having that sweep of the lows. We'll see if it can hold. We are right now at that support. Waiting for the flip of the rebound. And I'm pretty eager because I believe that today we might be having some good entries throughout the day.
Yep. Yeah, I'm thinking so too. Also, I got an article on ETH, and you saw it in the headlines there. There's an Ethereum death cross going on, and OC he F Ethereum. He thinks that Ethereum network going from proof of work to proof of stake was a huge mistake, and that it has not performed all because of that.
Don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That's what he thinks about Ethereum. So I love that soundbite. I'm keeping Trump in my sound bites forever. They don't know what the F they're doing. Let's give a shout out to everybody in our chat right now, guys. We've got 139 people in here right now. 132, and then some people joining us over on X and on Facebook. Real quick shout out here, Daniel Barnes saying, "Good morning, everyone. Another great start to another great day. Let's go make some cheddar." Shout out to you, man. BC Port Corp, good show this morning, bro. Donato Cabrera, username, is in here with us. Who else we got? Alexander G, the mod queen, in the house. I love you, lady. Piper slacking again. Buck. By the way, we have 2 birthdays today in our community, OC. Buck, today is Buck's birthday. He's he's 45, halfway to 90, he said. So he's 45, acts like 12. So shout out to Buck and happy birthday, you crayon eater. And then also happy birthday to R.S. Miller. Today is R.S. Miller's birthday again also. So Fakir, good morning all. Appreciate you. 2 dubs in the house. Drop those 2 dubs in the chat. Bitcoin Dreamer 2 joining us. F-Bomb. Fly with me too. Good morning, everybody, and good morning to all. Good morning to you, Chris Ford, Ranger, Wayne C. Dylan VA. We got all the people in here, man. We got a great crew today hanging out with us. I appreciate the Bernie coming over from the Otter Gang. Drop the otters in the chat, people. Let's go. All right, OC, I want to jump in, talk about the news. Let's talk about you're being gracious, saying he acts like 12. You're not wrong, BC Port Corp. Little Fish, I see you too. And the Brumblebee in the house, Crypto Chef. Appreciate everybody in here. Let's go talk about what happened with the economic news today, and let's try to break into that so that we can get into the charts. But before I do that, I want you to give us a little breakdown on what's going on with Bitcoin. If you would be so kind, let's give a little Bitcoin update, and then let's go jump in on this news, talk about the economic data, and then come back and take a look at altcoins. Man, what do you got for us, OC?
Absolutely. So let's yeah, I'm unmuted and I do have a background. Let me fix that. As you mentioned, amateur time. All right, perfect. So let's take a look at where we left
It
out.
was at
Remember
this
that
moment
our
he
ultimate
knew he fucked up.
I love the new sounds, man. They're fantastic. Remember that this is the ultimate area that we're looking for. There we have a loud order block that is pushing or pulling onto us. So far, the changes between 47 and 53% on that order block have no change so far. So we are not seeing any migration of capital to any of those points, which we are seeing is just a little difference in this one right down here. Nonetheless, remember again, the ultimate goal is to get hit somewhere around 109 or starting at 109 sharp and closing at 1012 we mentioned. So basically this area right here, we were on our way up. Nonetheless, it's not about your breakout, it's about your retest. So how far could we go down? Who knows, but we have our first blue predictive range. And remember, usually when we break through the previous predictive range, the price go finds the blue predictive range, right? So it's not only the predictive range, we also have this trend line right down here. So the area that I could be looking for a retracement is going to be basically right there between 106,600 and 105,700. Let's call those areas. So right there for the bounce. What's going to be triggering that bounce? It's going to be that flip of the ribbon either very close to the bottom or to the zero line or at the zero line. Nonetheless, also look at your money flow. It's already back at green and pushing. So I believe that we might be having that pullback and continuation. So far, that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. Nothing out of the ordinary, still on the plan. And I think seeing Bitcoin retracement and keeping that zone will make altcoins try for a little bit.
Yep, I think so too, man. Let's go ahead and jump into the news. We got somebody asking about that GDP update. Let's go give it to them. Jumping into the news, everybody. Welcome to the news segment here today, brought to you by Decrypted.tax and all of your tax professional needs in one place with a professional tax accountant and attorney, man. Go check them out, Decrypted.tax. Appreciate them. Guys, crypto market cap right now sitting at a total of $3.273 trillion. Trend on that is sitting at about 3.976 trillion. That's the median line, the average that it should be at currently based on this valuation line. We are undervalued by negative 17.69% on the crypto market cap. Bitcoin wristbands today sitting at 54.4%. It's still on a 2x DCA for the Piper plan. So if you know, that would be what your DCA in this week, 2 times your weekly DCA based on those risk levels. Looking at stable coins for Bitcoin dominance and without stable coins for Bitcoin dominance, guys, we've broken that 70% barrier again without stable coins, meaning you take the Bitcoin dominance, remove the stable coins completely out of that, and then look at that percentage against the rest of the crypto. 70% is what Bitcoin dominance is sitting at without stables. With stables, just under 65% at 64.94. Looking at the 24-hour liquidations that's happened in the market in the past 24 hours, 88,199 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $219 million. Largest single liquidation was on your favorite OC, Ethereum. $3.37 million on a single trade got liquidated there. Looking at the crypto bubbles today on the hourly, again, we're on the red. Daily, we're on the red. And you can see here all the way down the board, with the exception of Bitcoin Cash. And we're going to talk about that too today. I think you should pull that chart up, OC. Bitcoin Cash moving up to number 12. It is up 2.4% on the daily here. Looking at the downside, Bitcoin's down about 1%. Ethereum's down about 0.5. XRP down 4.6. Big movers to the downside today. Solana 3.8. Dogecoin 5.1. Cardano, ADA, man, down 5.3% today. Which is weird because right now, ADA, if you're not tracking, Cardano just got a wrapped version of Cardano. Is on Base now, the Base blockchain for Coinbase. And they're seeing a big sell-off despite that good news for them. SWI is down 7.7%, sitting at $2.62, losing that number 12 position to Bitcoin Cash, moving down to number 13. Stellar Lumens is down 4.2%. Avalanche down 4.8%, sitting at 17.15. 13. Dude, Chainlink coming close to $13 buck, but it can't quite get there. Maybe for your birthday, it'll pump up a little bit for you. I don't know. We'll see. And then lastly, guys, Litecoin rounding out the top 20, down 1.5%. So let's go over and take a look at X. Talk about the fear and greed today. It's at 74. We're still sitting in greed. Yesterday it was at 69. I thought this was going to pump up a little bit, and it did. So now sitting at a little bit higher greed level, we are getting pretty close to extreme greed. And just remember, Jay Powell, for those that want a July cut, there you go. Can't forget that little image. All right, let's go check out what a TradFi is doing before we talk about the economic data. Dow Jones is currently up about 0.4%, S&P about 0.44%, and NASDAQ just under 0.5% to the upside. Russell 2K also playing the game today, up 0.4%. The VIX below 20. 17, that's where Alex O sets his alert for, hey, we are in low volatility. We're below that level right now, which means price action can be very stagnant today. Might be pretty flat or see some pull downs going on. Let's take a look at the bonds market today. The 10-year treasury yield, baseline for your mortgages, baseline for auto loans, stuff like that, sitting at 4.273%, just down slightly. And oil getting a little pump up right there going on.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
It's sitting at 65.42. That's $65 a barrel right there. It's up 0.77 today. Gold seeing a stagnant, man. $3,300 is this level that it seems to be stuck at. So we'll have to take a look at that. But silver is back up above $36. Copper is up, platinum is up, and palladium is up. Guys, let's talk about what happened with this economic data this morning. Let's bring this in here and talk about it. So we had durable goods orders came in month over month. Okay, it was negative 6.6. We have a revision here. It was previously at negative 6.3, so it went down for last month by 0.3%. Was consensus and forecast that it would be 5 to 8% to the upside, positive growth. That's about a 12 to 13% move. Guys, came in at 16.4%, meaning that durable goods, this is your refrigerators, your washing machines, things that are built to last more than 3 years is what durable goods applies to. New orders for manufactured goods in the U.S. jumped by 16.4% over a month to $343.6 billion, in May. The sharpest increase that we've seen since July 2014, following a revision to 6.6%, slump in April, and overshooting market forecast of an 8.5% rise. Okay, transportation led that increase, soaring 48.3%, primarily non-defense aircraft and parts, 230.8%, and then orders also rose significantly for capital goods, namely non-defense and defense. So, of course, we're seeing some things there from like Raytheon, stuff like that. U.S. defense companies, and then non-defense was 49%. So orders also increased for communications, devices, computers, stuff like that, related to electronics. So order for non-defense capital goods, excluding aircraft, a closely watched proxy for business spending plans, rose by 1.7%, following a revised 1.4% that took place. So what does this mean for the economy? This means that the economy is having demand come back, supply and demand. If they can't meet that demand level, and obviously they're trying to do that. That's what an increase of manufacturing on durable goods leads to, is because the demand is there and now they got those goods in. It also could be this tariff scares, right? So they did not order parts and components that they needed for durable goods. Let's be honest, your refrigerator, no matter where it's made, probably has a majority of the components made in China. We didn't know what that was going to look like on a tariff. So a lot of stuff that the companies were doing probably slowed down because they wanted to see how much it was going to cost for those goods, so they knew how to price everything and what their manufacturing costs would be. So very likely that this increase is now that we have some type of clarity on the tariff levels with China. They knew how much to buy and how much they could spend. So that's what we had for durable goods orders. Let's talk about GDP, though. GDP is problematic today, down 0.5%, a negative 0.5% GDP for the entire quarter one. That's January, February, March of this year. We had the first one that came out of this, I believe it was like negative 0.2, and then we had a second release of it. This is the preliminary, a secondary, and your final. That was a negative 0.2, and then our final came in even lower at negative 0.5. You can see here they were projecting negative 2. It's going to stay the same. For the quarter, came in more than double of what they thought it was going to be on the downside. So what does this mean for everybody? Now, there is an article out there. I think Associated Press, AP News put it out. And they said a lot of this GDP growth rate was because people were not buying. Matter of fact, ChatGPT even tried to throw that on me. Let me pull her up here and show you. She tried to even squeeze that reason based on that article into this game here. Let's go here and talk about U.S. economic data. There we go. And I said, hey, ChatGPT, let's talk about this. I said, so here's the so what. I asked, what's the so what about today's macro release? And it says Q1 GDP second revision and May balance trade. Okay. She didn't even put the correct number in, so I had to go have her do it again. And she says, despite, where is it? There it is. Yes, so here's the update. She said BEA's third estimate shows U.S. real GDP contracted. Okay, why it matters? The sharper drag stems primarily from a 37 to 43% surge in imports as firms rushed preemptively ahead of tariff deadlines. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I need that soundbite. Import excess subtracted. Okay. I went down and I said, hey, ChatGPT, give me a clean summary. Also, no, where's it at? How is this from front running tariffs if the tariffs were not announced officially until April? And she said, oh, excellent catch. You're absolutely right. So Q1 wasn't driven by official tariff front running because businesses didn't yet know the exact scope or enforcement dates. Instead, it's more likely that it reflects, and this is where she starts to get some accuracy. It more likely reflects a mix of precautionary stocking, global supply chain normalization, and lingering geopolitical risk hedging, especially around Taiwan tensions and election uncertainties of how the first 100 days was going to go. At the end of the day, really what it comes down to is this was an economic slowdown. There's no way to slice this. Of course, Associated Press and everybody else want to, say it's because of tariff. And not the case. We had an economic slowdown going on in Q1, and now we're starting to see those numbers. Now, I will say this. I think that in Q2, the next GDP, so this goes January, February, March. We have March or April, May, June. Okay. I think that we will see a GDP with a big spike in it going to the upside for the second quarter of this year. And that's because we did get clarity on the tariffs now. That's all played out. And so there's going to be this massive rush to order things to meet demand, right? Because we're not really seeing a slowdown in the manufacturing side. That stuff's coming from somewhere. So I do think GDP for Q2, of course, we're going to get a preliminary, a secondary, and a final on that. Also, I think that's going to show a nice spike for us. What else was there in this day today? That was pretty much it for the GDP stuff. Tomorrow, guys, we're going to get core PCE index coming in. This is going to be month over month. Right now, expected to be flat. What's worrying me about tomorrow is personal income spending and personal income and personal spending, okay? Because personal spending is slowing down slightly. It's about a 50% drop there. And then personal income month over month is expected to be a pretty significant drop also. So people making less money and spending less money could counterbalance how much we ordered. But remember, GDP also has to do with imports versus exports, where personal income and spending is just U.S. economic driven. So we'll talk about all that next week or tomorrow, and then we'll break down next week how it's affecting the market. So core PCE will be negative again, in my opinion. Very, very possible, bro. How is the markets reacting to this GDP data and all that? Well, let's look at the CME Fed Watch Group and see what their assessment is. Right now, guys, we're looking at a 73% chance for July 30th of no change on rate cuts, 27% almost now chance of a rate cut. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. And of course, my widget disappeared. Get my ticker back down there, please. Thank you very much. And no widget for me today. All right, looking at the Trump administration here before we jump over to the charts. Trump administration moves to count crypto as a federal mortgage asset. Guys, this is really big for adoption. We're going to talk about this one in a little bit, but this has to do with when you go to a bank and you say, hey, I've got these assets, this is what I have, and I'd like to get this counted towards my total assets. Like, what is your net worth, right? Crypto has not been allowed to be used by FHA and in FHFA. So the Federal Housing Finance Agency, which is basically Fannie Mac and all that, they have not been able to count your crypto as your total net worth. They have been directed that they will start counting that, and so it's being more adopted and recognized as a actual asset class. So crypto, the newest asset class. I think we should start calling it crypto assets, not cryptocurrency, because I don't really know many people that are spending crypto. I definitely know people that are handling it like an asset. Unless you're 8ace, then he's using the Cardano chain for everything. I'm surprised he don't have like Cardano toilet paper in his bathroom, man. I'm just saying. All right. Sorry I was late this morning, by the way. I was late this morning because I had to order a laser leveler. I'm trying to put shelves up on 2 different walls across my room, and I need them to be the same height because I don't want to have my wife have me move them 20 times, fill holes and all that stuff. So I wanted a laser leveler. I went to Lowe's yesterday. Irritating. Look, I know Lowe's is a corporation, okay? But I try to go to local businesses, even if they're chains, because those local businesses become jobs in the community. Those jobs make money. Those people take that money, they spend it, and it recycles back into the economy, okay? So I try to shop as much as I can offline at stores. Because I understand how the economic cycle works. So I went there and I wanted this laser level. First of all, they're all behind a locked case. So shame on all of the people that steal shit all the time. That you have to lock things up. That what it is. No problem. We'll get someone to come over here and open my door, right? Open this door for me so that I can at least see, because they don't even have lights in these things. I'm blind, people, okay? I have light issues with my left eye, scar tissue over my eyeball. It's what happens when you get your bell ring, okay? Anyway, neither here nor there. I went in to go, looked around the entire tool section at Lowe's and said, hey, can I get a laser level over here? I need to get one. Nobody there. There's no one around. I go up to the customer service desk, the cashier over there, and I go, hey, can I get some help in tools? And so they call it over the system, goes over the entire intercom system, customer support to tools, right? No one still shows up. So finally, I'm like, I'll order it from Amazon. So I forgot to do it last night. Ordered it from Amazon. I got to the front and the guy goes, did anybody ever come over and help you? I said, nope, I'll order it from Amazon. Thanks, though. And just rang up the other stuff that I had in my hands and left. So horrible. But yeah, that's why I was 1 minute late today. I apologize to all of you. I apologize. OC, let's talk about Ethereum, bro. Well, to start us into the alt run and see what's going on there, we got this article here I want to bring you up for. It says Ethereum death cross flashes for the first time since 2022 ETH price crash. So back in 2022, when we had that big ETH price crash, went into the bear market, right? ETH's 2-week chart signals a bearish crossover resembling a 2022 setup that preceded a 40% decline in the price of Ether. Ethereum has printed its first 2-week death cross since 2022, historically linked to a 40% price drop. And they're looking, so when you pull this up, they're looking at 2-week time periods here. So it looks like a 50 and a 20 exponential moving average, and they're looking at this on a 2-week chart. So if you can pull that up and get that ready, we'll talk about it here. But ETH faces downside risk while trading below 2 key trend lines. Strong network usage and volume indicates bullish potential. Previous death cross preceded a 40% ETH price decline. The bearish crossover occurred as ETH's 20-period exponential moving average slipped below its 50-period exponential moving average. In mid-2022, a similar crossover preceded a 20% drop. So I would love to, it's right there. It's just that little section right there, but I would love to see what you have on your chart. Let's talk about Ethereum. We know it's your favorite token, man. Let's go.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that usually it's typically the 50 days and the 200 day, but which ones are they using there? You mentioned the EMAs, right?
Yeah, they're on a 2-week chart and they're looking at EMAs.
Perfect. So that was the 50 and the
50, the 50 and the 20. 50 and 20 EMA is 50. Yeah, they're all 2-week.
All right, yeah, but perfect. So we are on the weekly. And well, they have a
Nope, 2 week.
different dead
2 week.
cross.
2
2
week.
week. Let's add that one. Come on, really? Two. Add 2 week. There it is. Finally. All right, the 2 week. We got it. And the EMAs that they're using are the 200 also, or the
Nope,
50
20 and
and
50. 20 and 50.
20 and 50. All right, it's a little weird because we're talking about difference. Traditionally, the dead cross, it is between the 50-day and the 200-day,
I
and then
thought so
usually is
too. I
either
thought so too. And that's why I wanted you to
yeah.
do this, because I want to run some comparison against this, because I think I really feel like this is a forced situation. Like, look, if you take the 50 and 20, it does this, right? So yeah, I wanted you to bring this up, talk about that. Let's go.
That is exactly what I'm thinking, because I mean, again, the 2 week, it's like, hey guys, we just had a dead cross between the, I don't know, the 100 and the 2.5 EMA on the 2.65 week, like chart. So kind of, yeah, I know that jokes. And really nothing already there. We're flooding out. I wouldn't consider this. I mean, if we really, really, really zoom into this, yes, we have a dead cross, but it's not the right EMAs. It's not the right time frame, and well, it's not actually something that I would really consider, because let's go back in time, right? I mean, we could have had it right in here, and this is what it looks like, but this happens right after we already have dumped, right? I mean, so not really something that I would really consider. The next time that happens, or another thing that could be playing out, it is something like this, where we start ranging and look at the price action here, and look at how we kind of like start getting together really close to cross back, and then we finally did it, right? So pay attention to the price action in here, and to this price action. We're coming back down or back up from a big movement, something like this, right? If we just adjust it, there it is. And then what else do we have? Because we are not on logarithmic, remember that. So these movements are a little bit smaller, and these ones are bigger. So we have ranging, and that ranging usually involves the EMAs entangle each other. Let's go really quick to another smaller time frame, so we have a much better understanding on what is happening here, and why do I think exactly what Piper mentioned, which is a forced setup. Here it is. 1 second. There it is. Look at that. As we range, as we coming up, and as we range, yeah, I mean, was that a dead cross? Technically it was. Was that a dead cross? Technically it was, right? So not really anything really happening there here, right? I mean, this is something to be worried, but the dead cross happens after the setup, right? So if we already had a the 2 week, whatever the CMAs are pointing out for the dead cross, the dump should be already factored in. And is it? Yes, it is. So
It's something I
not
want to
sure if
point
that.
out there. Something I want to point
Mhm.
out there is go back to the one in 2022 that they're looking at there on the 2 week, and go back to that. And you'll see that right after that cross, we had the bottoming first before that. And then we created a second bottom before it jumped up. Go look at the current setup now. Bottom, cross, second setup before the next rally. I'm just saying, man, they're talking about a 40% pullback here, but yeah, exactly. And if you like, how are you going to miss that in the setup there? I'm gonna pull over here. 40%, but you missed that entire repeat pattern of a drop bottom, the actual bottom one happening before the death cross, and then after the death cross was around the time of a higher low before the launch off. I'll jump back over to your chart. I just wanted to show that, because this article, you guys got to be careful out there, man. People will show you charts and they will force it to look like whatever they want it to look like. I can put things on charts and go, this looks exactly like this. And yes, while some things do repeat, when you start seeing weird things like a 20 and a 50 being used instead of your typical 5200s and stuff like that, question it. Question the bias. So
Absolutely. So let's just try to assume that, all right, maybe I'm too inexperienced, maybe, and there's a new dead cross between whatever these things are, right? But let's just give it a turn. Let's just actually try to give it a chance. So what do I see here? It is exactly what Piper is talking about, right? But let's take a look at it here. We have a support zone, right? So there we go. Perfect. Is that support zone as precise as possible? Maybe we can try to pull it downwards a little bit more just to consider this area, but we can clearly see that this was a resistance, a support, an important area because we needed a big body candle to go through here, right? And again, a big body candle to go through that support. So we know there is support. What could happen if we lose this support, which at this point we already have a green candle, we just need to close on that green candle, will be maybe going to the next support, right? Where is that next support? Right around this area. And look at that. Maybe can I try to make it as precise as possible? Maybe I'll just push it slightly above here so I can catch these weeks in here, and this one's in here, and that would be it. And yeah,
would that be, measure that down from that top wick? Would that be about a 40% move? I don't think it is.
From right now to down here, that's a 19%.
No, from the wick. From the wick. The top wick.
31. I mean, 40% will be taking us.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is a stretch. This is a stretch. Possible in the rounds of possibility, yes. Probable, plausible, I don't think so.
Not at all. I think that when you actually look at the chart on the daily, look at the daily chart and just take a look at the chart prime oscillators. Let's jump over there. Just take a look at the chart prime oscillators on Ethereum. Where you at, ETH? Right there. Take a look here at what we're seeing. I see that the 50 is about to cross the 200 daily SMAs here. Okay. We are fighting against the quantum reactor right now, but we're showing support on the dynamic reactor. And if we take a look here at the daily signal line for the MACD normalized, this is the MACD made by Chart Prime. It's showing good strength here. You look at the RSI, we're getting off of a lower 30 bounce coming to the upside. Volume is looking pretty low, and money flow is kind of flat, but overall, we are pushing upside on the True 7. We're pushing a little bit upside with the curvature. Curvature is important there on that oscillator ribbon, so maybe another little pullback for a bounce in that trend line. I'm looking at like 2,300, but I don't think overall that we're looking at a 40% drop based on what I'm seeing here on daily indicators and oscillators. So, questionable at best. Guys, if you haven't done so yet, guys, smash that like button. I saw Alexander G say something about it. I hate asking for it, but it really does help the algorithm. We're trying to grow here and continue to grow the community to put out some great knowledge to you guys. She said those are rookie numbers.
Pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
44 likes. Appreciate you guys for that. And OC, let's go take a look at what you're watching on the altcoin side. I know that Dog is, I got some news on Dog today. We'll look at that real fast because yesterday we talked about Dog and then Mike Play said, hey, there's some stuff going on with Dog. They're getting ready to be listed here. Tier 1 centralized exchange listing happening tomorrow, 27 June 2025, guys. So Dog will be listed in a top tier T1 centralized exchange on June 27th. When new coins list on big exchanges, more people can buy or sell. Now, a lot of times what we've seen is that these pump into that and then they drop right after. What they're saying here, 100% correct. But OC, let's take a look at Dog. We talked about it yesterday, and then let's look at what you're watching on the altcoin side, man.
Absolutely. So again, unmuted myself. Just a quick question, and by the way, Piper, also a quick question for you. We just got a user here at home, and this is a cold press user. So yesterday, my wife went to buy a bunch of orange and a pound of ginger, and how do you call that? The orange thing that Mr. Bugs Bunny eats? Carrot. So
carrots. So you got a juicer. You got a juicer. I need to
Yeah.
translate from Spanish to English. A juicer, not a user. A juicer. Got it. Yeah. So go ahead. What's your question about it?
So I just want to ask our members, what should all be pressing in that user? Because it's a cold press user. It has like a big screw that presses
Avocados.
stuff. Avocado, really?
Avocado oil,
For
bro.
real?
Avocado oil all day.
Oh, but I mean, for juice, I would drink avocado oil.
No. Don't drink it. You can cold press avocado oil, and it's going to save you a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely. Your
Phone call. I'm going to
audio-
pass it over to you, and you can
Perfect.
run with this.
Let's go. Absolutely. So, guys, talking about pressing shit, let's take a look at BCH in the meantime. So let's take a look at the BCH chart. So right here, it seems like everything is looking normal. There's nothing out of the ordinary. And of course, I'm kidding, because I also have seen a couple of you guys nailed it on BCH. And despite I think it's a, you know what, coin, well then it's still making money. It's still printing. Nonetheless, we already have a retracement from where we sort of like we were expecting. Why is that? Because we had a predicted range. We were getting very close to this area right here. And of course, we had that special predictive range bounce back into the golden lining here, double bottom, bounce up back into the previous a purple lining here, predictive range purple, and now it remains. I think we're going to be breaking out to the upside. We have a very weirdo goose head here, but look at when that goose head comes in, or kind of, this looks like a flamingo, actually, like a flamingo head in here looking upwards. We usually have retracement, pull up, retracement, and blow up. So right now, yes, this is an area of retracement. I think we're having it. We're going into a loud order block, so I believe that we're going to be having a big support here, and then take at least the 513. So maybe, and just maybe, I might be trying to long BCH. Not because I think that a coin is garbage. I wouldn't try to squeeze some money out of it. But so far, looking fantastic. We haven't broke any important trend lines, so let's go for that. We can draw a trend line in here, and we haven't broke it. As we're breaking it, since this is a very tight trend line, well, then we want to make sure that the next bounce does not become a double bottom, or in this case, a double top or triple top to come back down. So quick advice, when we're coming back down, not financial advice, I'm going to be looking for a smaller flip of the ribbon like this, continuation up, TP number 1, TP number 2, and then TP number 3. So let's go for that. I'm going to be updating now. It was about time, right, for me to start updating my trades on the Discord. And remember, it needs to have this FOR like we had it right there. All right, so that's what we're looking for to an entry. And then let's go back to Doc once again. Just want to make that little introduction from the using and squeezing stuff. I think that was cool. Also, I mean, it's for real. We're squeezing stuff. I just had a carrot and orange juice. Fantastic juice. Not a sponsor, so orange juice, sponsor us, please. All right, so looking at Doc,
orange juice.
Very nice.
Orange juice by itself is much better than orange juice and coffee. OC, I'm proud of you. You're growing up. Thank you.
Oh well, what can I say, man? I'm just gonna wait till I need to take over once again, and I'll respond to that. Nah, just kidding. But guys, if you haven't tried your orange juice and coffee, it's weird, but it's good. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so looking to Doug right here. There we go. We have a breakout, right? It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest. We already have talked about this a couple of weeks. Remember, this is the daily. We're gonna go into lower time frames in a second, but I'm expecting a pullback down. At this point, there is one thing happening, which is what Piper mentioned: listing of the asset. That could maybe rocket the asset all the way up, but so far we need to look those possibilities. So where is our next target? Our next area will be calling our quantum reactor at 0.45. But at this point, I believe this is chasing after a price. Why? Let's go to the 2 hours or to the 4 hours. In here, we had a beautiful breakout. It's not about your breakout, of course. It's about your retest, and off we go. Technically speaking, your lower time frame already have played out. Now we're going for the big movement. But I mean, right now would have looked like we're going for the retracement either on the dynamic reactor or our trend line. Remember, our guidance at this point is going to be, oh, look at that, tiny candles, not good. Look at before tiny candles, range and dump, right? So the same thing we could be having, range and dump. Why is that? Because the normal cycle of a breakout is usually a retest, because we're having a little bit of a breath, right? So we're taking air out of this really, really big pump. All right, let's take a look at the other oscillators. And what we're expecting in here is going for that zero line flip of the ribbon and looking at what support we are. If we're not on support, we wait for the next upcoming support, and that's where we look for a long. So not counting the listing, we need a pullback. Counting the listing, maybe we're just going to be ranging. And then if you see the flip of the ribbon throughout the up range or sideways range, well, then that's your opportunity. Move with cautious. Low leverage or big leverage, low quantities. At the end of it all, you need to understand that you most likely could be getting tangled and get liquidated or get stopped out on that position with big candles retracement like those. And so you need to adjust either your position size or your leverage or both. So other than that, turn it back to you, Piper.
Want to give a shout out to Juicer Name. He said they're talking about your username over there is Juicer Name now. That's his name now. So evidently, if you have to make the translation. So C90 wants to give him a squeeze. He said. All right, let's talk about Circle real fast here before we head out. I want to talk about what happened with the price action there yesterday. I'll jump over here. I'll bring you in with me. OC, what's up? How you doing over there, bro? All right, so. What I'm watching here on Circle, guys, we did come down to the value area low of this fixed range volume profile here. We go into a gap. So if we lose this, I'm looking at like 180 down to maybe like 170. Of course, if we lose all of that, we have to go into this whole volume node down here, okay? What I was talking about yesterday was that I was watching for a point of control to be held around 225. Okay, we lost that. We came back up, bounced right here. So right below, I got to turn off the fixed range volume profile so you can see what I'm seeing here. We have these predictive ranges from Chart Prime's Market Dynamics Pro, and typically price will trade here. OC said, when we make new predictive ranges, this is where it was at yesterday. They printed as soon as we broke this purple line here is when these printed. And OC said, we almost always make a return trip to the delta line. That's that 50% blue line there. And if you go back up and look, we went into a new predictive range here. Where did we go? The blue delta line. Okay, we go here. We broke above. What do? We return to the blue delta line. This is what we typically do. We will return to that range. We returned to that range, OC. So good call on that one. We are now rejecting off of that level. And I do think that this could be heading back down to our lower golden band of the predictive ranges. These indicators, again, are in the Market Dynamics Pro from Chart Prime. If you have it, just go down here, turn on predictive ranges. I set them on 50. They're on the chart, and they give you some beautiful predictive, not lagging. It's not a lagging indicator. It's a predicting indicator. As soon as you break previous ranges, we returned right back to this level beautifully, and now we're heading back down. Now let's bring back on the fixed range volume profile. Talk about that level again. That's where your value area low is coming in at. But if we throw on fibs, let me hide everything else here, and let's just talk about these fibs for a second. That was a golden pocket also down there at that value area low. we're rejecting on the 50% fib. The problem with that is anytime you come in from the bottom on a 50% fib and you get a rejection, you typically will head back to the golden pocket. If that doesn't hold, you're heading to the platinum pocket. The platinum pocket is your 0.786, 78.6% fib to your 88.7% fib. Actually, 88.7 is a GAN level, not a fib level. But anyway, I digress. I use 0.66, also a GAN level. Watching this play action here on the 50 and not being able to get above that, if we continue on this rejection path, I do think that we're going to head back down to 196 range. If we lose that, we're heading down to the 160 to 175 range. I did take half profits when we lost the 382. So I am sitting on half of my profits right now, but I am looking to buy in down here in this 175 range as a possibility to buy back in with my profits. That way I can increase the amount of shares that I have of Circle before it comes back up. Of course, something to keep in mind, and I'm not sure when that's supposed to happen. Let me go check here. Let's go check on Chat GPT. The Genius Act. The Genius Act is supposed to be happening very, very soon. Let's go new chat. It's been approved by the House and the Senate. We're waiting on the signature from Donald J. Trump there to make it an actual law. So when will the Genius Act be signed by the president? Let's see what she says here. And get this info, because that's going to play in on Circle on sure, let's go with response one. Officially titled the Guidance in Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act and designated, has not yet been signed by the president. It passed the U.S. Senate on June 17th, but remained pending. Nope, it's been approved by the Senate now. There it is. Likely, no, that they've already voted on this. See, ChatGPT can be wrong quite a bit, guys. You got to be careful. The House votes to pass it July or early August. No, I'm pretty sure this already got signed. Genius Act approved. Let's see here what the news says. Yeah, it passed the House and the Senate. Yeah, Senate passed it on June 17th. Let's see here. Genius Act established the first federal framework, dollar pegged. Yep, we know about that. The milestone for the crypto industry, Genius Act, short guidance, legislation grants sweeping. Senate Democrats unveiled the End Crypto Corruption Act. And that means you should get rid of the dollar too if you're going to get rid of things that are corrupt. On stage, Bitcoin 2025. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this has been approved. Someone let me know in chat. This has been approved by both House and Senate at this point, I believe. Let me know if I'm correct or incorrect on that, but I believe that is the case. Let's go news and let's do tools and let's look at the most recent past 24 hours, maybe. Forbes magazine, Senate posts crypto market structure principles following approval of the Genius Act. Yeah, so this was done. So last week, oh, that is so bright. I'm sorry, I just blinded everyone. There we go. OC's in his dark reader. He's saving me. Last week, Senate Banking Committee Chairman Tim Scott commented on President Donald Trump, writing the Washington Genius Act brings digital. We know what it does. We know what it does. Thank you. Legislation should be clearly defined. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure, though, that this has been fully approved. Not by the House yet, I didn't think. Okay, well, then that's what we're waiting on. So on the Genius Act, guys, C90 doesn't think that it's been passed by the House yet, but I thought that it had. I guess it's going to the House. So it's going to the House. But when that happens, guys, that's going to be another factor in there, I think, right now. If it's going to be that long out, we could be seeing the $175 coming in on that level for Circle. So if you're looking for an opportunity to buy back in, that's where I will be buying back in with my other half of my profits. But that thing has just absolutely ripped, and I think that it's going to be a strong move. Honestly, because they don't really have much competition in the way of federally regulated and SEC approved publicly traded companies that deal in stablecoins. And with all the stablecoin regulation and the adoption of the stablecoin fintech into banks and everything else, I think that that's just the one to lean on, in my opinion. So OC, we got about 8 minutes. Is there anything else you wanted to show on your charts? If not, we'll wrap it up and then head out of here. But if you got something that's that you think everyone needs to see, we can pass it over to you. What you got, man?
Absolutely. So let's take a look at Litecoin here, just keeping track on what's going on. Remember Litecoin that I am expecting for a quick rebound, right? So something like actually XRP is doing at this point, right? I am expecting that pull back to some entry zones. So far, it's not there yet. It is ranging, time is ticking. And if I see the flip of the ribbon and not a pullback like I was expecting, well then I'm gonna be trying to catch that maybe bottom of the range, or at least a breakout retest and continuation. That depends on what I'm gonna be doing. Also remember that this V-shaped recovery could be moved all the way to the end. That is usually when it happens. There we go. So we still have a chance, and we're looking to ride this trend line. So we might even go for a higher target in here. So that's basically what I'm looking for today. Just wanted to give that shout out for you guys and update on this trade. Other than that, turn it back to you, Piper.
Absolutely. And I just saw someone make a comment. So there we go. Little circle there in the chat. Piper loves a circle. Yes, I do. I do. It's a moneymaker, and we called it out 2 months ago before it was ever even an IPO launch. So OC, I appreciate you, man, being here today. I appreciate all the Otter gang that hung around with us to get this news and info today. Check out these charts. Talk about what you guys needed to know today. And shout out to all the alumni. Appreciate you guys every single day.
Yeah, that's my alumni. You know what I mean?
Every single day being here with us. Much love to all of the alumni here at the Piper Academy. There you go. Hearts for you guys. Don't forget to tune in to OC later on today with OC Trades Live. Hopefully no storms today. He had to cancel yesterday because of some bad weather in his area down there in Cozumel. But go ahead and tune into him today. Also, check out Markets After Dark tonight with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow morning, BC will be back with Good Morning Crypto right here on the Piper Academy Network. And we'll be back at 10 a.m. bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, the headlines, the macroeconomic data, and PCE report tomorrow so that you guys can have knowledge, because knowledge is profit, guys. We will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Until next time, trade safe. And as always, use some risk management. Peace, love, profits. We're out.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels roll. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni that's all spine. But if you have, step fall back to offline.
Boom, shakalaka.
We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels flow low. Sound off
to get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni. You know what I mean?
You can't handle the truth.
Emotional damage.
that was awesome, dude.